So unclear really at the moment?
Unclear. We'll know more in the next 24 hours. So I'll pull up tomorrow.
And in terms of Jason, how do you know if he's pulling up?
Yeah, I don't know how he'll pull up tomorrow. He had a tight hamstring. So he's going to go for a scan tomorrow, and probably it'll take 48 hours before we have the results and stuff.
How worrying is it in general to have both yourself and Jason pulling up?
I think when any two players go down, it is a little bit of a worry, but I don't think we're not at panic stations or anything yet. We'll just see how we get on in the next 48 hours and go from there.
Chris on the right.
Owen, if I remember correctly, you had a back spasm last summer, I think, in that one-day series against Australia, and you were back playing 3 days later. Does this feel worse or better?
It's in a different area, and you normally get a good indication the following day. If it settles down a little bit, obviously the improvement is there straight away, and then the following day is better. So, yeah.
Do you envisage yourself playing in that Afghanistan game? Or
I don't know. Like everybody, we'll have to see how it pulls up. Particularly probably myself and Jason, maybe a couple of the bowlers, do a risk assessment as to see how risky it is going into that game. Bear in mind we'd have 2 games, quite short space.
Not ideal for obviously Jason to pull up as well, but how pleased were you with how Joe Root filled in at the top of the order?
Oh, exceptionally pleased. I think he's now the highest run scorer in the tournament. He scored 200s. He's such an important player for us. He is the glue that holds everything together, and probably a side of his batting that's got better over the last 2 or 3 years that people haven't seen a lot of his expansive game. He never seems to go at less than a run a ball. You look up, he's going at more than a run a ball, and it's exceptional to watch. So to see him come out and be in this form and continue it is brilliant.
Just going to move the mic forward.
Sorry, that's fine. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
You've got to
go for it.
You got 2 fast bowlers who are bowling around 95 mph. Mark Wood and Jofra. How much of that?
Go for it. I can hear you.
Yeah. How much of that is an advantage? Going ahead in the tournament, you got 2 fast bowlers who really rev it up.
Yeah, I think it's been one of the trends of the tournament. A lot of teams have a couple of bowlers who can bowl quite quickly. We're very fortunate that we have 3 guys that can touch 90 mile an hour. It's something that we're going to use, and it'll be a strength of ours. But also, the other side, we have a very good leg spinner, very good off spinner. So all round, I think hopefully we have areas covered. If trends do change later in the tournament and wickets get older, the spinners might come into it a bit more.
Obviously not ideal to have the injury concerns, but presumably really pleasing that you've shown you've got some all-round strength. I mean, to have a 7th bowler who can take 2 wickets, to have a number 7 or 8 who can come in, he's got a test 100, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That is a reminder that when things go wrong, you've got a plan B, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose today is a very good example of that. Another one would probably be away in Australia, in Sydney, when Liam Plunkett went down in the first over. I think first over the bowls, Champions Trophy, first game against Bangladesh. Chris Wokes went down with a side strain. So strength and depth, is something that we've worked on in order to plan for situations like this.
Today was probably a little bit different. What does it feel like in other matches playing teams where they got such incredible support? Does it actually feel like a home World Cup for you guys?
Today definitely felt like a home game. It did. I didn't have any indication that there were a lot of West Indies fans, whereas you play Asian teams, you certainly get that impression that there's a lot of fans there. Yeah.
And how does that change? How does that change the atmosphere? Having the sort of balance between the 2 sets of field?
It is what it is. We've accepted that when we do play against teams like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, they will feel like away games, and that's just the way cricket is. Yeah.
Take a couple more. Let's do Guy here and then Lawrence, and then one more to finish up.
Owen, we talked about Joe Root's batting, but what made you turn to Joe at that point in the match as a bowler?
Yeah, it was actually surprising that Adil got it to turn as much. I kept speaking to Joss because I can't get an indication unless the ball beats the bat as to how much it's turning, but Joss kept saying it's turning more than we think here, it might be worth a go. So we spoke about it for a couple of overs and then went with it for 1, possibly 2, but he started brilliantly, and typically he's got a goal and he does take wickets, which is great.
Owen,
Amazing.
sorry. How much of a luxury is it to have a guy like Joffre at the death? Because sometimes in the past the death has been a slight issue, but he doesn't just keep it tight, he takes wickets as well.
Yeah, but Joffre's, the addition of Joffre covers all three areas. He takes a new ball, he bowls well in the middle and at the end. So to have that at your disposal gives you a lot of options as a captain, particularly when you have Liam Plunkett in the middle with Adil Rashid, or it might be Moeen Ali, that allows you to hold over his back. Potentially if you take a wicket, you can use him then when the new batsman comes in, if he's liable to get out of like a quick bowler.